Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Khalipa, short format podcast. We dive into something I'm thinking about this upcoming week. And of course, we got a little bit of coffee in hand. Now, it's been a great day, great start to the day. I hope you're having a great week. Topic conversation is this idea of your game plan might suck. And the inspiration for this conversation actually happened yesterday. So I'm at the gym and I have a training partner of mine. His name is Mason Fowler. He's a professional jiu-jitsu athlete. And we were discussing a jiu-jitsu tournament that I competed in maybe a month or two ago. You guys have definitely heard of this if you've been listening to the podcast. I competed in this tournament, and my game plan going in was very specific. And I was going to stand up. I was going to work to take them down. I was going to tire them out. And then I was going to continue to work to get them down. And then I was going to take them down, knee on belly, mount them, get a bunch of points, etc. That was my game plan, was stand up, tire them out, do different takedown techniques, and eventually get them down. My technique was not to pull guard, or there's a bunch of other things you could do from the start of a jiu-jitsu tournament. And so I'm talking to Mason. He's like, hey man, sometimes your game plan, you got to switch it up. And, if you feel this guy has a judo background or whatever it is, you had to switch your game plan. And that was new for me because competing in CrossFit, every now and then you would change your game plan. But for the most part, your game plan was your game plan for a reason. You had thought about it for a long time. You had discussed it with your coaches. You had, cultivated this concept in your head of what that event was going to be and how you were going to approach it. And then sometimes when you get in the event, sometimes your game plan shifts because maybe you get nervous or something happens. Sometimes every blue moon in CrossFit, you should change your game plan. But for the most part, when your game plan changed, actually it ends up being worse for you because maybe you try and keep up with the competitor next to you, or maybe you get overzealous because you're underneath the lights and the competitors and you go out too fast and then you burn yourself out. And so typically in CrossFit, it worked out better for me to identify a game plan and execute on that game plan and stay true to it. Maybe with a minute or two left in the event, maybe let the wheels off, make it happen. But for the most part, stick to your game plan. But what I found was in jiu-jitsu, that doesn't necessarily always work, because if you go in there with a game plan, but maybe your competitor went in there with the game plan and they have a specific set of skills that carry them well for this game plan, I might have needed to just readjust my game plan and switch it up to win. And so it was just a good kind of learning lesson for me that whether it's CrossFit, jiu-jitsu, life, you have a game plan and it's important to stick to that game plan. But at some point, if your game plan sucks and it's not working, you might need to make an adjustment, and that's okay. Don't be so, steadfast in your game plan that you're not open-minded enough to shift, even though all signs are pointing to it's not working. For example, me and this dude were standing up for 5 minutes straight. I should have taken him down minutes before. So if it wasn't working, I should have made the on-the-spot adjustment. But I was so used to in CrossFit identifying my game plan and just sticking to it that I think that I wasn't as flexible as I should have been in jiu-jitsu. And so it was just a nice reminder for me that whether it's in family, business, fitness, whatever it is, I think it's important to have a game plan. I think it's important to go out there and work to execute on that plan as much as possible. But if or when there comes a point where that game plan is no longer serving you well, you have to know when it's time to kind of ditch that concept and move on to plan B. And you don't want to do that super early. You don't want to immediately just let your game plan out the window. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that once you're in it long enough and you're really doing an assessment in the moment, you're saying, hey, this is not working. It's okay to change it up. I was too consistent on my, I'm taking this guy down. Had I just with even 30 seconds or a minute left, switched my game plan, I think it could have changed the event for me. So that's the motivation, inspiration is check your game plan, have a game plan, go out there with your game plan, execute on your plan. But if or when you realize that game plan sucks, it's okay to switch it up. That's the inspiration. That's what I got going on. Go back, check out the other Coffee with Khalipas, enjoy our other episodes with Gabe and others. I look forward to more podcasts to come in the future. If you're getting value from these, whether it's, hey, switch up the game plan or midline stabilization, whatever else I was talking about in previous weeks, if you get value, just share them with a friend. It's a great way to start the week. It's really invaluable for me to be able to share some of the ideas I have going on in my head. And so, like I said, it really helps out the podcast, helps us out. Just share with a friend. That's it. That's the ask. Keep crushing it. Have an amazing week and see you again next week for another episode of Coffee with Khalipa. Let's get it.